Welcome to another episode of On the Capo Stand podcast. I am your host, David, and alongside yours truly, as in every week, the voice of the people, our friend John. What's going on, John?
What's up, David? How are you?
I'm doing fantastic. The last week was my first week out coming back from vacation, and everybody can relate. It was just difficult. It was tiresome, but here we are. I had a great Friday at the stadium. I went there with my oldest son who wanted to spend some time with his father. I appreciate it. My kids are very loving, but my oldest son is very attached to me, and he told me that I was stressed and we work and all the other things. He said, "Dad, I want to spend some time with you," and he probably regretted it because it was super hot and humid. It was miserable. In fact, the following day when we went to synagogue, he was napping. He was that tired. He got beat up. So, to my son David, I love you and thank you for sharing the moment with me. Aside from that, my friends, we're gonna talk about a bunch of different things. So let's start. We have all sorts of things. But before John, a quick announcement. If you're watching us, or you can see that under my name, there's a new handle at most hated in 407. I have a Twitter account again. I'm not gonna be as strong presence as in the past, where I was basically a reporter without getting paid for it, and following everybody that follow me. That's the thing of the past. I felt, and I was telling John that it was difficult to do the show without staying on top of the news and in the game of football. Everything runs through Twitter. That's the way it is. In fact, with all three clubs that I follow, they will update the Twitter feed before doing anything else. So it was very difficult for me to offer you a show quality. Therefore, I made the decision. So again, if you want to follow me, you're more than welcome. Is at most hated in 407. Of course, it's tongue in cheek. And like again, the purpose of the account is just to interact with you guys with the when the our friends from Orlando Lions then do the then after dark, and obviously stay on top of the news and that stuff. I will continue to be as I am on Facebook and Instagram. I've have found a group in Facebook where I'm very active, and I found the guys there, very good people. We can have intelligent discussions, and that's what I want. I don't want to be fighting or anything. We have proven that stupid people are gonna be stupid people, and I'm not here to save anybody. I'm not a messiah, and definitely I'm not a cherry. So we're just gonna leave it at that. So thank you very much for that. I want to thank all the people that watch us live. You can catch us live on the Capo Stand on Twitch, at on the Capo Stand on Twitter, on YouTube, David at David's Channel 76, Instagram on the Capo Stand, Facebook on the Capo Stand Podcast. If you want to be on the show, you can email us at foodiefan76 at yahoo.com, or you can DM us in any of the applications. So if you want to partake, if you want to discuss, you don't have to agree with us. It's a platform for you, the fan, to come on board and discuss all the things. With that said, John, obviously, let's go on news around the league. We have plenty of stuff, so I'll let you run with this, sir.
Yeah, so I mean, I'm sure everybody that's on Twitter seen the last week and a half. Orlando's been said to be potentially signing a lone player and potentially signing another young player from Colombia, from South America. Brian Reynolds is the lone player. Got signed by Roma from Dallas a couple years ago. Really never made a splash with Roma like he was hoping to. Was loaned out to a couple different teams. His loan period recently ended, as well as his contract with Roma. So he was trying to sign a contract with the team that he was loaned with. I can't pronounce their name. I would butcher it if I did. But that sounded like last week, about last Wednesday or Thursday, that was all but said and done. And it just broke today that that's cooled off, simmered out a little bit, and that it's looking more and more like he's going to come stateside, come back to the MLS, potentially re-sign with Roma, and then um, join a team in the MLS on a loan, which would be front runners right now are Orlando City or Dallas. Dallas, because that's where he came up in their academy, and then here because of his relationship with Poppy from when Poppy was in Dallas. It'd be a great signing for us. It would give us what I feel would be a very quality option at right back. He can as well play a little bit of winger if we needed, went to more of a three back and he needed a step forward as a wing back.
Mm-hmm.
So he's made a couple national team appearances, not with the quote unquote A squad, but with the B and C squad, and hasn't impressed, but hasn't not impressed. There's definitely been players on the field that were worse for wear than he was. And then the other player, the Colombian that we were rumored, I think yesterday was when that popped, is Miguel Monsalve. I may be butchering that. David, rate my Spanish real quick. How bad was that?
No, that was very good.
So he's a 19-year-old. First senior season is this season, from what I could tell online. Pretty solid center attacking mid. He's been trying to learn how to play as a senior, being his first year out of an academy. His stats so far, if I can find them, because I have them written down in my notes here, but of course I can't.
Well, what you do that? Let me give a shout out real quick, John, to everybody that is listening to us on audio. Was running some of the statistics, and audio is the preferred form of consumption of our show. So I want to thank everybody that is listening to us during the week. Obviously, they're not now because we have to finish before the show can be on audio form. In everywhere where you consume your podcast in audio. Thank you very much to those guys that do that. Go ahead, John.
Yeah, so he has 7 goals and assists and 18 senior team appearances. Pretty decent for a young guy. Think he would be a good guy to bring in. Now get his legs under him. Stateside, give that precious time to gel with his current teammates that some people like to say the new guys need to do. And then, potentially next year step in for Pereira, who has this year shown his age. I said it earlier in the season. I'm sure some of you laughed, and he's showing it more and more as the year goes on. He's been more injured this year as well than he has been the past couple of seasons. So I feel like age is the age is getting to Pereira, and Monsalve would be a good replacement for him. A natural center attacking mid. It wouldn't be a Torres situation where we'd be taking a guy that's played winger most of his life and trying to move him to mid. Or a striker and moving him back there. So be a good fit. And then me and David were texting yesterday, trying to figure out, well, where are these guys going to fit into our roster? Because Reynolds not a big deal. He's a local guy, or local meaning from the States.
National.
Wouldn't require an international spot or anything like that. He would slide right in. But what about Monsalve? Because he'd either have to be a U22 initiative or an international slot. And I know we have one international slot from a trade earlier in the season from Atlanta, which we haven't used yet. And then our 3 U22s are used by Gaston Gonzalez, Ramiro Enrique, and then Araujo. Those are our 3 U22 initiative signings. So David, you had some on that. I know you explain.
Yeah, for sure. First, let's read this comment.
Yeah. Jim D, literally the only reason I am on Twitter is soccer.
That makes 2 of us, my friend. The situation with Gaston Gonzalez is troublesome. you guys that have been following me for a while in my old account know that when I had the Tiro de Esquina podcast, the Spanish podcast I uh, that I conceived, it was my creation. The name, everything about it was all me. And that show, while it never had a big following, maybe 50, 60 people throughout Latin America, was a focus because a lot of my contacts, a lot of my sources, the sources that I used to dong on people with, came thanks to the show. Reporters in Latin America will say, "Oh, there's a podcast in Spanish. Let me talk to this guy." And I was introduced to Nachito Sanchez, the beat writer for Unión de Santa Fe. Got to know a lot of people I knew. Gaston back in Argentina. Humble beginnings. His father is a mailman. Mom works in a clerical job. Very, we have discussed in the show the situation in Argentina, how precarious it is. Unfortunately, he gets hurt on the 70th minute of his last game at Union, and we still honor our commitment to sign the young man for less money, but we did. We paid for the surgery, we paid for the rehab. We sent one of our medical personnel down there. We brought the kid here. We finished the rehab here. Excuse me. And we took him to Orlando Health, got him in shape. Plays this year, a lot of promise. Gets hurt, rehab, comes back on, gets hurt again at Exploria, and then goes back to rehab. He looks like he's coming back. He gets hurt in practice, and we haven't heard from him. In Instagram, he published that he had dinner with his agents recently here in Orlando, and his girlfriend posted this cryptic message saying, still believing in the dream. In fact, I'm gonna translate it because obviously it was in Spanish, and I want to do it word by word. Let me. Okay, here it is. She said, "Remember the sacrifice. Your objectives continue right there. Let's push it. Let's keep pushing on. A step back only, you know." And basically, what she's referring to is the common Spanish expression of un paso para atrás para coger impulso, or taking a step back to leap forward. And so again, it appears. And by the way, it appears that the rumor is that he may be going on loan. Worst case scenario, that we're gonna cut ties. We're just gonna buy him out or sell him, or he's not no longer in the plans. That's the rumors that are being spread. I had somebody from Argentina reach out to me to ask me what was the situation, because over there they're concerned because the kid has been getting hurt, John. So a lot of people were hoping that a good performance by Gaston was gonna open the floodgates for Union to be a conduit of players to MLS. His brother, by all accounts, much better than Gaston. Orlando City had an eye on him. He actually trained with Orlando City in the Argentinian summer. So unfortunate. We don't know what's going to happen. Again, rumors are rumors. They are what they are. This is one that I don't want it to come true. I think maybe because I have so much invested on the story of the kid. And I got to meet a lot of people in his circle. So I want the best for him. And I still feel that as a player, he can contribute to Orlando City. But again, we're not a charity. Football is cruel and unpredictable. We have said that before. So that's the story with that, John.
Yeah, and I mean it's sad because he showed in his limited appearances with us, especially right before he got injured this season, what he could contribute to this team. I mean, showed flashes of his old self, so showed flashes of his just all out speed that he has. He might not be as
Hmm.
fast as Angulo per se, but still the speed that he has combined with the strength and the skills that he has. It's really a shame that he's gotten injured so much, and then potentially the time at the clubs cut short. But that's part of being a professional athlete. There's been Tom Brady would not have necessarily gotten the starting job if the quarterback before him hadn't gotten knocked out with a concussion. I can't remember which quarterback that was.
That was a long time ago, bro.
Yeah, but everybody, a lot of all-time greats have stories like that where the guy in front of them gets injured, they get a chance to step in, and then next thing you know, they're a Hall of Fame player. And the guy,
Tiki Barber. I don't know if you remember that commercial in the late '90s where he was saying that in high school he was just a backup, and
Mhm.
the guy before him gets hurt in a play, he goes in, and the rest is history. So like you said, it's about timing sometimes. When we look at uh, um, Kyle Aaron, Daryl DK, those guys were not meant to be those guys. It just people ahead of them got hurt, COVID, this, that, the other. But again, they got to where they are because of sheer talent. I will have to say that the only player that we have drafted that truly has rammed his way to the front has been the Nebraskan assassin Duncan McGuire. We're gonna be talking about him in a few,
Mhm.
but yeah, no, we got that. Anything else before we go into Leagues Cup?
Not that I can think of, unless you want to talk about that team down south, which I'm
Yeah,
currently
yeah, we're gonna talk about that for
sick
sure.
of hearing about.
Yeah, before we go into our business, we gotta talk about it because it's just part of football. Before all that, I want to congratulate OCV on their win last night. Martin Perlman has done a super job with OCV. They were ahead, they fell behind, and they came back to win it. Um, right now, Jacqueline is planting flags on that trophy, that golden boot. I'm very happy for him. He's a young man that I feel deserves more minutes with the first team. There's a lot of players in OCB that I feel that have earned that place. Guys that feel the commitment of the jersey, the weight of the jersey, and the commitment to the badge. So I just want to thank them and congratulate them on everything they're doing. Also, on news that you didn't ask me about, but I'm still gonna tell you, my club Maccabi Haifa won the Israeli Super Cup version of the FA or Open Cup. So I'm super excited about that. New manager, new players, uh, club in transition. Stevenage is wrapping up their preseason. First week of August, we go back at it again in a new league. So I'm super excited about that. So I have to throw their shout outs. So let's go to Leagues Cup. Did anything happen this past weekend? Well, before I give the microphone to John, I have to say this. I just like you guys, I was angry that the whole tournament really was eclipsed by this one man, by Leonardo Messi, Lionel Messi. I'm sorry. And fact of the matter is, it was expected. It, all the glory hunters went and paid their five, six, seven, eight, $9,000 to go watch this. They brought in all the C-listers to watch a player that they probably don't have any idea what's going on. The stadium was full. I'm glad that it was because it has never been full in their history because nobody in that town knows that they play there. And my opinion, it was not a foul, but this league is gonna pretend and do whatever they need to do in order to sell a narrative. Like I said to everybody on social media, it doesn't matter what happens in September at Exploria, 655 West Church Street. We're gonna humble this has been. Okay, that's what we're gonna do. I don't care. Oh, he's Pessy is nothing as long as he's wearing the pink of the Pepto Bismol pink of Fort Lauderdale. I'm about Orlando City. and I know my commitments to the boys. That said, my friends, there's a lot of football to be played. There's a lot of football to be played. It's easy to come in as a sub 60 minutes into a game and flop like a fish, earn a foul, and now all the world loves you. Give me 90 minute plus in that Miami Heat. Do that because it seems like people have forgotten that they're last on the East. There's a lot of
And
football
they
that
beat
they
the
have to
first
play.
team in Liga MX too, by the way.
Exactly, a Liga MX team in preseason. But we're gonna forget the obvious. Okay. So with that said, and I'll finish with this. Messi does not take my sleep. I sleep very soundly, knowing that players like Facundo Torres, like Duncan Maguire, like Pedro Arce are defending our colors. You know why? Because nobody knows who they are, but the fans of this club know who they are. I guarantee you, if you put a gun to the head of half the people at Fort Lauderdale's former Fort Lauderdale Strikers stadium, if you want to call it that, if you put a gun to their head and you ask them, name five players out on the pitch for Inter Miami right now, they wouldn't know. That, friends, is the definition of plastic. My commitments to the club. So, friends, we're gonna have to weather the storm until September when we bring them back to reality. So, John, impressions about what happened down south.
It was expected. I mean, one thing you didn't bring up that I found quite comical is him and his buddy Busquets come on, and 10 minutes later, a goal is scored by the other team, not by Miami, to give up the lead, which I found quite comical. And then for the fact that for not the fact for that to be called a foul, that was less of a foul than the penalty that was called on us,
uh,
and that the penalty that was called on Orlando City wasn't a penalty. So you tell me what that's going to be.
Not in a billion
Because
years, friend.
everybody knows that the MLS is going to play their favorites. They're always going to try to make Orlando City look bad. They're going to try to make our rivals look better, because they hate us. They hate our fans. They hate our supporters. They hate our passion. They're always trying to silence our supporters and not let us be supporters. They're always trying to. I don't know how our penalty, and we'll touch on our match in a little bit, didn't go to VAR, but other ones have gone to VAR to go
Uh
against
huh.
and stuff like that. I mean, just take the Philly match earlier this, a month ago at the beginning of this month that they drew when Kara scored to go up 3-0, and they called that terrible foul, that incredibly soft foul on Kara, and then you go not even a year prior where Antonio Carlos was pulled down by his jersey. You could see the in between his shoulders, the jersey was getting pulled on so much, and they didn't go to VAR for that penalty, and that would, by the way, have tied the match up, if the penalty would have been made. So you go two games like that, same ref, different foul, but it's obvious the refs are against us. As an Orlando fan, that's something you have to accept. But then for them to call that on Messi, it was like the league gave the referee a book and said, hey, in this situation, make sure you call a foul. Messi knows he's supposed to fall like there's a foul. Just make sure you call it, and you'll get your wage for refereeing a game today. There won't be any apology from the club. Pro won't come out with their thing with a thing saying, yeah, the ref made a mistake. It should have went to VAR and been overturned. Because the league wants Messi to look like the hero that he probably shouldn't be at this point in his career. So that's where, and I mean, the MLS, everybody talks about the MLS being a top 6, top 7 league here in the next 4 or 5 years. That's not going to happen until our officiating gets better. I know the Premier League has its issues, but it's nothing compared to the mockery that is the officials the MLS and Pro have running out there. It's just an absolute mockery of the game. Every time one of those pro referees step foot on the pitch, and as somebody who used to referee, it's I don't understand how they still have a job. They have zero accountability when it comes to making bad calls or incorrect decisions, and I'm personally sick of seeing it. Ahmad Salim, hey Ahmad, how's it going? That foul was a complete joke. Yeah, I mean, not much more you can say about that. John Ames, will Ursa be available for the next game? Do you guys think he should be a starter? I've not seen anything about his visa update or visa
Right.
status yet.
They were waiting for his I believe it's called a TCC, the license that the club owns him, and also, yeah, visa issues when he left, obviously, and he returned. That process needs to once again be restarted. The club doesn't foresee anything because his absence of the United States was less than a year, and he had already previously been with us for 3 years, so it should be speedy. I'm gonna say something controversial. I think that Junior Urso, as much as I love the guy, has to earn the spot. We can't just give it to him because it will be disrespectful to the players that are playing in those positions. I believe that we have to feel the best 11. Monday to Friday, people went on practice, and we have to put the guy that has earned it. That's the reason why Erchan Kara, a DP, is on the bench making over $1 million, and a kid making $77,000. Listen, in base pay, without my benefits, without my bonuses and all that, I make $2,000 less than this kid. All right, and I had to go to school, earn a bachelor's degree, and all this other training and all that crap. So that already tells you that this guy who has an incredible talent is making what most middle-aged people are making in regular careers. That's an embarrassment. But that's the way it is. I feel that Duncan, is special. I think we are in the early stages of seeing a great player when it comes to Orlando City. Tell you what, John, I agree with you 100% on your assessment. The league is going to do what the league wants to do to sell jerseys. I saw people online saying, "Hey, I went to Peru, I went home, and nothing but jerseys everywhere of Messi." That's exactly what the league wanted. And surfing through YouTube, I ran into one of my favorite YouTubers, Ellis Platten of the Away Days channel. Highly recommended. I've been following him since he started the channel when he was back in high school in England. While he was an unknown kid for Norwich, he came to Orlando while we were in the Citrus Bowl, and he visited twice. Last year, he came as a superstar that he is. Of course, the club didn't even acknowledge him. Bad on the club to allow people of his caliber just to waltz in like somebody's son rather than giving him the treatment that somebody of his stature deserves. So he came in last year when we played Charlotte, and did a beautiful piece on our club and our league that last time I checked a few months back was over 200,000 views. And the league brought the YouTubers, the hot YouTubers of the moment. Alice's channel has exploded. It's wonderful. You can go follow it. And he's not paying me a dime. Away Days, go check it out. And I'm not saying that because he has been to Steve and Anch and all that. No, I'm just telling you, he's a great channel. And he came down. They gave him they put him pitch side right next to Messi's family, on why he claims that was a $100,000 ticket. So pitch side for this game, those tickets were selling for what most professionals making a year, and that's outrageous. That's incredible. Because Messi didn't play the whole game. He just what was that, John? 40 minutes that he played, I think,
Yeah, something give or take.
something like that. So imagine that you paid $100,000 to see an old man nail a free kick. I mean, if you know, $100,000 could have been invested in something else. But if you have it, hey, by all means, go nuts.
And don't get us wrong, it was a great kick. It was a good kick. There were more impressive ones over the weekend, but it was a good kick. Um, you know, but like I said, there were more impressive free kicks that
No, for sure.
on the weekend. As far as Urso goes, if I can go for a minute
Yeah.
on Urso, I feel we brought him in as a bench player to take Felipe's spot. Of course, he has to earn it yet because he's a professional athlete. But I really don't think he's going to crack the starting 11 unless somebody gets hurt. And even then, it'd have to be, Cartagena or Araujo getting injured. He's a good locker room guy.
Hmm.
I know he's a good leader. He's a natural leader. But he's 34, 35 years old, and
Oh yeah.
it's a guy that doesn't take any days off. At least when he was with Orlando, if you were going to keep him on the bench or keep him out because of an injury, his leg was probably severed half off.
No, for sure.
So he's put a lot of mileage on those legs, and I think he got what he got, taking care of what he needed to take care of back home, and it was like, hey, I really loved Orlando, and he's coming back here because it's his second home, and he obviously loves Poppy, and loves the teammates that he had last year, which mainly are the same. There's 2 or 3 new ones, and that's it.
Hmm.
So I'm glad to have him back. I'm sure he'll give us a boost when we need it the most. Get an unexpected goal when we least expect it, and when we most need it, like he seemed to always have a knack for doing.
Yeah, he's a workhorse. His age does not bother me at all. I think that so there's some players out there that can still go close to 40 and still give you good minutes.
Absolutely, yeah.
I think I'll roll the dice with Junior Urso. And again, like you said, John, incredible locker room presence. Great guy. I don't think there's anybody in the league that has ill will against him. Always a fierce and fair competitor. Personally, I really like his worldview. I like he's a family man, and he's an inspiration to others around him. And I think that if this was his swan song, this is his last rodeo, that Junior Urso considers staying in Orlando and working in our organization in some capacity. I think he's a leader of men and he's an inspiration. And I think a lot of our players need that. At OCB, I think we have a fantastic training staff, managerial staff that is getting the best out of our players. And at the academy level, we need that continuity as well. And if young kids can see, hey, my coach used to play for this team, I think is going to be something fantastic at that level. We have a comment here, John.
Yeah. William Aguilar, Urso should be bench, but instead of subbing in Ojeda, Urso should be the bench.
Okay, good deal. And shout out to our good friend Will. He sat with me for this hot and sticky game against Houston. Had a great time. We were on TV, so we made it. We made him we're famous. So there's that, my friends. All right, John. Let's go ahead and talk about Houston real quick. Houston having an awful season. We consider first goal thanks to a penalty that, in my opinion, was not. And actually, when it happened live, I was very upset about it because I felt that it wasn't. But I said, maybe when I get home and I watch it, perhaps I'm gonna see something that the manager or I'm sorry, the ref is seeing or VAR is seeing, because there was no invitation to the ref to go take a look at the monitor. Although I don't know, accident or trolling, on the big screen they show video review for like 10 seconds and then they took it away. So I don't know. Perhaps VAR made the recommendation he would have seen that this was not a foul. And not because it was against Orlando City. I have to say that when situations like this happen, fans from both teams have to feel that they're being treated fairly. And I guess I had told John and Will and anybody that any of you guys that I ever met, I don't mind losing to a better team, or I don't even mind losing to bad luck. But to fall for this it was inconceivable. I went home, looked at it. Definitely not a penalty in a billion years. But Duncan McGuire has something to say, and with this I finish, so John can give us his impressions. Duncan McGuire keeps impressing me. And he keeps impressing me because how easy would have been for this kid to say, "Hey, I'm better than this guy, this guy, this guy, but you're not paying me enough. So I'm just gonna just write it out, whatever. I'm not gonna." Duncan McGuire, candidate for an ESPY, best of the best NCAA Player of the Year 2022. A man already creating buzz with the national team. Ladies and gentlemen, take all the pictures, get all the autographs from this young man. John, I do not see him past 2025 in this club. I think Duncan McGuire, I mean, the grit of a striker. I mean, we're super lucky to have this young man.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the goal he had, I even said it before he even put the ball in the back of the net. He's chased that pass back to the keeper down multiple times this year. Finally, was rewarded by it. Had such a presence of mind. I don't know if you how closely you looked at the replay, but
I was
right
on the opposite
before,
side.
I'm sorry.
I was on the opposite side to the
Yeah,
wall.
I mean when you went home, if you saw
Oh no, 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 I did see it.
but
Incredible. The,
sitting
the
there
keeper
running,
tried to get cute.
he's sitting there running at the keeper, and right before the keeper receives the ball, you kind of see him check his left shoulder, check his right shoulder, sees the guy over there, starts shielding over that way, is able to get his foot in the way, and then the rest is history. He puts it home. Just what we've been saying all year about him. One of the few guys on this team that every time he's on the field, he is hustling and gritty and has that workhorse in him that he's going to try to force the win when there probably shouldn't be a win. And the ref was horrible all night. We'll go back to that. Very one-sided. Orlando in league play is one of the most fouled teams in the league. We had a stretch of 3 home games of somebody being sent off, maybe even 4.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So, we dominated the stats, all the stats that matter. We dominated shots, possession, and all that. It was a game we definitely should have won even 2-1, maybe even 3-1. Some nights it just doesn't go your way. We had our opportunities. So we're not going to obsess over that. But what I do want to obsess over is we had 4 yellow cards. Orlando is the most fouled team in the league. Orlando had 4 yellow cards. Houston had 0. Total fouls, Orlando City 12, Houston 10. So you're telling me on a random night, one of the, if not the most fouled team in the league, is going to have 4 more yellow cards than a visiting team, and have 2 more fouls than the visiting team. I'm sorry. I mean, it was like the ref was refereeing 2 different games. The yellow card on Facundo was a joke. Facundo's dribbling the ball, and the guy tackles it, and Facundo steps on his foot. It was a foul. It wasn't a yellow card. The yellow card on Angulo was an absolute joke. It's almost like you thought Cartagena and Angulo were the same guy,
Probably he
and
did.
Angulo was you know, it was a foul on one of them, but it wasn't a yellow card on one of them. The only way it was a yellow card is if Cartagena had kept with the guy with the ball and continued fouling him. I mean, it was a joke of a refereeing performance. And where's VAR? VAR is supposed to be in this competition. They even said it on TV. The announcers on TV that were heavily against Orlando kept bringing up the game in Fort Lauderdale. Never had some just terrible announcers all around. Completely against Orlando. They're supposed to be, they're supposed to not take sides, but they definitely wanted Orlando not to win. Even said when they showed the replay on the TV of the penalty that they didn't know where the foul was. Basically, that they didn't see where the ref said there was a foul. And then for it not to go to VAR is a joke. I mean, it's a game we should have won. We got lucky. We somehow still won stay undefeated in our club's history. 8-0 in penalty kicks. That goes back to USL days. Not
Yeah,
every
we
club.
have never in our history.
They were around in 12 years ago, 13 years ago, let alone
Mhm.
USL. Had a team before coming to the MLS.
No, for sure, my friend.
So
You know that streaks, good or bad, they come to an end. Thank God they did not come to an end
I
Friday.
really thought Friday night was.
Yeah. I'm with you, and Will can testify to that. My son can testify to that. Because I was very concerned about that. I have to tell you, guys, that I was very angry at the refereeing. The cards are accumulative. So obviously, that's gonna come back to haunt us at an opportune time, unfortunately. But it is what it is. You gotta play with who's in front of you. And I know that several people have approached me about this situation over the years about the refereeing, and I remember a friend from Stevenage uh, that I brought with me to one of the games, telling me, "Oh man, I thought League Two had bad referees. These guys are imbeciles." And the problem with pro referees that we can all agree, all the fans can agree, is that if we don't create an environment where we reward good referees, A, with more money, B, to referee our big games, the playoffs, finals, etc., and we do not strive to create an environment where we tell former players or people who have a love for the club to be referees, we're never gonna go anywhere. In the UK, being a referee, well, hated and everything. 'Cause I don't think there's a single fan out there that loves the referees. But the reality is that it's well respected. In fact, there you don't get your license and go to EPL immediately. You actually have to work your way up from rec league, and based on the amount of games that you ref, that's how you start getting your experience. That's how you start making your money. That's how you start getting promoted. And referees in England or in the UK as a whole, in most European countries, they get promoted just like the players and the teams do. So that if you have a team, if you have a referee in league in the third division that is doing fantastic, that is well respected by the managers, by the club owners, by the fans, by the players themselves, then that person has earned their place to move up a division and start all over. And that's how they get. That's why when a referee gets to first division league like the APL, what you're getting is a quality professional. In fact, in Latin America, it's easy for the old school fans to refer to them as colegiados or members of a guild. I guess guilder will be the direct translation. Why? Because to be a ref, it's It's an honor. It's a profession. You actually have to learn the rules of the game. You have to study. You have to get licensed. And it seems like here in the United States, we just let people just be refs, and we can't have that. We have seen some atrocious, John. We have seen some atrocious refereeing here in Orlando, and I have said to Orlando fans before, when our opponents get shafted, while it's easy to laugh about it and to we shouldn't be happy for them because what happened to them is going to happen to us. And that's the problem. As long as people go, well, my team won, tough cookies, as long as we allow this to continue, then the situation will happen. You can scream all you want that the ref belongs to an OB team, but the fact of the matter is if our league is going to be taken serious, we have to demand quality refereeing. Anything about that?
Yeah, I mean when we have a referee, he coaches a lot of or coaches referees a lot of the games. I feel like in the Northeast that looks like he would struggle to ref a U12 uh, match on a Saturday afternoon, and he's refereeing the highest level of professional soccer in the country. That there's a problem. There's a lack of seriousness that is taken by the powers that be, and who you know tells these refs to ref the game, who certifies them, all of that stuff. So it's a joke. It's really sad that this is what's holding us back, and it's going to continue to hold us back. And I'm not. I've written pro about it. Obviously, who cares? I didn't get anything back. But I mean, the fact that something as simple as the offsides rule, where you're told to let it play out. If it's questionable, let it play out until the play ends. Basically, the run of play ends. So whether the keeper gets it, it goes out of bounds. The ball's cleared by the defense, whatever it may be. And the fact that game in, game out, that is not consistently upheld one way or the other, whether it's stopped or whether it continues to the play continues to go and then the offsides is called back, is a joke. It's got to be one way or the other. You can't have it. There was one game this season where Orlando was called for offsides. It was exceptionally close, but they called the offsides before Facu could even shoot. And then later on in the same exact match, there was a player that was clearly offsides, and I went back and rewatched it. I can't remember the exact game, but I rewatched both plays just to make sure I wasn't losing my mind. And being in the wall, you don't have the greatest angle either. But my perception of it from the wall was exactly how it was. Facu's was extremely close. The opposing team's offside was he was well offside, but the opposing team, of course, they let the course of the play run. Gillespie had to make a save, risks our keeper getting injured, risks other players from getting injured. I really want to know what they're going to do with the inaccuracy of it. And I'm not, and I'm from the old school where if it's offside, the play stops right there. If a goal was going to be scored, tough cookies. It's offsides. It's offsides. They get the play wrong. The call wrong. They get the call wrong. The fact that they let it play, I'm against. Period. Because what's going to happen? You let it play through. The guy actually was offsides, and then a keeper loses his career because you let the play continue going offsides, and the keeper saves it with his face, and something catastrophic happens. Where's that going to be there? That's why offsides was originally stopped. Used to be stopped right then and there, was because of that. But now we got VAR, and everything has to be right, and all this. Well, guess what? This is what's been created with VAR, and I'm not a fan of VAR either way. Part of the thrill of being a sports fan is the human element of it, watching the players as well as the officials, whether it be baseball, basketball, American football, soccer, volleyball, whatever, tennis, whatever it is. That's part of the thrill of watching the sports, is the human error element. And VAR really takes that away and just adds more reason for frustration, more delay in the joy that a goal brings, and just really brings down the enjoyment of watching a sport.
No, I'm with you 1,000%. I think we're gonna get it right eventually. Um, I think I understand that the nature of the offside rule is to basically prevent. What will happen without it is you leave a guy all the way down by the goal keeper, and they just a long ball, and there you go. I mean, scores will be 40, 50 to 60 or whatever, but the reality is that that's not beautiful football.
No.
Football is a game where the um, the scoring is not everything. To me, is the what the build up to the play. Otherwise, we're basketball.
Yeah.
You go to a
That's
basketball
not what
game.
I was arguing. Offsides is a good rule for that reason. It's when the assistant raises his flag and they let the play go through the until the run of play is over, and then next thing you know, the goalie has a shot point blank ricochet off of his face, and something catastrophic happens. Where 3-4 years ago, when once that assistant raised his flag, the play was dead. The
For
play was
sure.
over. They called offsides,
And,
and that's all.
and we're not the only sport that has that rule. You have icing in hockey. You have in basketball. Once an attacking player enters the attacking field, they cannot remove themselves back to the defending field. You have to create circumstances where you have to attack within reason, and also give the defender a fair opportunity to defend. So I think we're gonna get it right. I think there was a lot of incompetence with this referee. I jokingly said online that I felt that perhaps Houston had kidnapped his family and held them hostage in a basement somewhere in Orlando, because you cannot simply be that incompetent. But it is what it is. The good thing is we were able to tie the game thanks to Duncan Maguire's I don't know how to describe it, genius. And we went to PKs, because in this tournament, after a tie, you have a penalty round where the winner earns an extra point, which we did. Beautiful, beautiful from our club. Pero we're an incredible save against H. Herrera had to go home empty-handed. I think that set the tone of the penalty round. And Facundo Torres with probably one of the most beautiful penalty kicks that I have ever seen. It was just power.
Mhm.
It was dominance. It was like, buddy, I'm here, and hear me roar. And talking about that, as a father, John and I, we would like to welcome to the club Facundo Torres and his daughter today. Obviously, to his partner, we want to wish them well. Tonight, I believe it was today,
Yep.
that his
This
daughter was
afternoon.
born. I believe her name is Juanita. Now, at least that's what his dad, Jorge Torres, posted online. It's an old school name, so I'm very surprised that they chose that. I don't know if it's a nickname, family nickname, or whatnot, but I wanna congratulate him, wish him all the best. May she live to be 120. Happy birthday! And she now has a permanent connection with Orlando. Anytime people ask her, "Oh, how come you were born in Orlando?" "Oh, my dad was a footballer. He played for Orlando City." So what a beautiful story. This young man is going to learn that making babies is fun. Raising them is where they go and get stuff. So congratulations to him, and John. I think you had the picture. If you don't mind sharing that.
Yeah, let me see if I can find it
Yeah,
here.
go ahead. Go ahead. And while you do that, again, this is the second Orlando City baby that we have this year. Obviously, the legendary, the monster of Rodrigo Schlegel had a daughter in the spring. So that's two baby girls with Orlando ties, and that very coveted American passport. Thank God for our citizenship by birth. How you like them apples? That's the situation right now with the club. I believe there's still another baby out there. I think, if I'm not, I may be mistaken, but I believe that Urgent Care's wife is pregnant. So there may be another one on the way, if I'm not mistaken. And I'm basing that on his celebration of putting the ball under the jersey. That tends to signify that somebody's pregnant. So there's that. All right, my friend. So while John looks for that picture, um, uh, Santos Laguna and Houston are gonna be facing each other in Houston. I believe it's this Wednesday, John. Right? Oh, you got it. Let me see.
Yep. Let's see if it shows up.
Yeah, I got it right here. I just gotta allow it to be on. There you go.
Yeah.
Good for you, Facu. Very, I got to know this young man's family, his parents, great people, humble middle class family that just basically got lucky. Their son was born with that incredible talent, and now he gets to be a dad, like John and I. Best job you'll ever have.
Hmm.
And before, oh look, we have our good friend Vixen. What's
Hey,
happening,
Oh,
Vixen? You're on the capo stand, my friend. How you been?
awesome. How you guys doing? Happy to be here.
Doing
good.
great, brother. So
Awesome, man.
let's start with the question. What your impressions about Friday's game, and some guy that I believe is named Messi or Pessi or something like that that scored a free kick down south.
Yeah. I mean, that's. I mean, I don't really want to talk much about the Messi case. I mean, I would love to talk more about Orlando City personally.
There you go, my friend. The microphone's yours.
You know, but the game that we saw here, like I don't know if you see my name at the bottom. It says "Bring up the defenders."
Yes, I see that.
Uh, when a penalty kicks come into play, you know who you bring up. I was Pareja was like, bring up the defenders, and I'm telling you, 3 of the 4 defenders scored them.
Yes.
Yep.
Like nobody's talking about that, man. I think that's pretty big, you know. Like I'm that like I would like to see Real Madrid's Alaba, Rudiger, and like Carvajal step up. Like
Yep.
I just don't see that, you know, and like Orlando
No,
City.
you're absolutely right.
So Vixen, a funny story from when I played in high school. You know, an ancient time and a half ago. It feels like at this point. So we had our midfielders, like most high school teams, are your best players, best overall athletes, best pure soccer players. So we get awarded a penalty kick. It was just a regular season game, but still get awarded a penalty kick. I think at the time we were either up a goal or it was tied when we won the penalty kick. And we had a keeper that the next season ended up being an offensive tackle for a football team, an American football team. Big dude, 6'2", 300 pounds. Pretty good goalie because he could move in short spaces.
Wait, 300 pounds and he was goalie?
Yeah.
Well, I would like to see him like run the laps.
So we're sitting there trying to decide who's going to take a penalty kick, and he had this real big bellowing voice. And all of a sudden, we can hear him, just the footsteps, almost like you would imagine an elephant running up the field, yelling,
Dang.
"I got it," and seeing him running like this, like like the really big dudes do. "I got it, guys!" And he comes running up, takes the penalty kick, and it was one of the high school type goals where it's all metal frame, has a triangular back. He hits it, and it hits the back stanchion, the back post, if you will.
Wow.
So hard with that kick. Now, he made it. He made the penalty kick. He hit it so hard that the front of the goal lifted off the ground and came back.
Oh wow!
And
Nice.
you saying bring up the defenders made me think of just him running up the field like that on the penalty.
Hey, I'm just saying. I was waiting for Galese to come up there. I'm like, we got Santos here, Carlos.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah,
I was
no
hoping
kidding.
Galese to take one.
Talking about that, guys, in MLS, in the tournament, I believe one of the games went to 15 PKs.
Yes.
Total PKs in that game. Yes.
Well, remind me who the teams were.
Whitecaps. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, no, go ahead.
Go ahead. If you know, I forget. Go ahead.
Oh, it was Whitecaps versus Leon.
Okay, yes, thank you.
Yeah.
And I believe Leon won that one.
Yes, it is.
Yes, so congratulations to them. Unfortunately, on a little piece of gossip here, the league. I don't know if MLS or Liga MX screwed over the charter, and they had to actually wait an extra day to travel
Mhm.
to LA. And unfortunately, they're going to be facing, I believe, as LA Galaxy without training.
Yep.
So
Wait,
right,
who? What's him?
Leon
Leon.
was they were stuck in Vancouver an extra day, and so basically they are arriving in LA with enough time to just just go at it for the game. Unfortunate indeed. I think it's very difficult to go on the road. To be honest with you guys, I think if we are to make Leagues Cup a success, we gotta play in Mexico.
Yes.
We have to play in Mexico
I
because
I
because
I
that way the Mexican teams, which are in preseason, let's be honest, they're in preseason. Then they can play in front of their people and then make the games matter.
When stuff like this, I mean, you can look it up, Vix, and there's pictures of a professional soccer team, the highest level professional soccer team in their own respective country, sleeping like there's some sort of traveler, that missed their flight.
Yeah, I
All
saw
the whole
that
team's just sleeping
on the
yeah,
in the airport.
carpet.
the
Yeah, on the carpet.
U.S. women's national team had to do that once. They just had to sleep out there, like in the airport,
Mhm.
like no, like
I believe that was because their flight was grounded because of bad weather.
yeah, yeah. I remember it made headlines in like the Orlando World because they had Ali Krieger and Ashton Harris from the Orlando Pride, like on there, and they're
Mhm.
just sleeping then. But
So before you came on, Vixen, so I started talking about the fact that this went I believe it's Wednesday, if I'm not mistaken. We're going to see Santos Laguna facing Houston. A defeat by Houston or a tie in which Houston is the losing side on the penalty shootout, all but guarantees our basically passing to the next round. We're moving to the next round.
well,
Uh, yeah, go ahead.
no, like sorry to interrupt.
No, no, go ahead, brother.
But no, I mean it's too hard to tell. I mean Santos Laguna. I mean like how you said they're in preseason, and last season, I mean they were kind of 50-50, in my opinion,
Uh huh.
and but the summer, like you don't know what happens in the summer. Like like a team could go like crazy good, like what happened to Cincinnati, or they could just go downhill.
Yeah,
That's just a hard question, but seeing how Houston played, I no, but they're playing in Houston.
yeah. It's
And
the
I
same
think
same
Houston,
situation. Heat, humidity, just like Orlando. By the way, I stand corrected. It's Tuesday, so uh,
yeah,
today, if you're listening to us on audio, or today if you're watching us, tomorrow if you're watching us live, that's what's gonna happen. And if you guys allow me, the games tomorrow, 7:30, Miami welcoming Atlanta. I'm sorry, Miami at Atlanta. My apologies.
yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
yeah,
Hmm.
on turf. Will Messi play on turf? That's a big questions. Big question. Santos Laguna is gonna be playing in Houston. Dallas is gonna be welcoming a Mexican legendary club, Necaxa.
Yes.
Necaxa. That's
Mhm.
is one of those clubs that every Latin American knows
Yeah.
because it was a favorite team of Don Ramon on El Chavo del Ocho, which was a
Indeed.
famous
Indeed. Yep.
show. If you speak Spanish or Portuguese, you grew up with that show. So
I like
Necaxa,
to think that Cox are like the New York Cosmos of the U.S.
yeah,
So
yeah, man. I mean, they disappeared. They changed names, and they brought the name back, based on again the fact that everybody knew the name because of the show.
mhm.
Mazatlan is going to be facing Juarez,
Yes.
and LA is going to be facing Leon, like we spoke about. By the way, one thing that fell under the radar was that when Mazatlan played Austin and
Yeah.
and defeated them.
Hmm.
The first goal was scored by none other than the Paraguayan, the legendary lion, Josue Colman. You
Yep.
guys remember that guy?
Of
Hmm.
course, I remember that guy. Yeah,
Yes.
I didn't think he. I don't think they treated him enough. Like, I didn't really give him enough chances. Like Jose Colman for me was like the Brian Roches of 2015. Like in my opinion.
Yeah, yeah. Listen, we bro. If we talked about these two players, which I am privy to a lot of insider stuff, we'll be
Uh,
here for another hour. So maybe at the end of the season, or if we have a buy or something, we'll do a show about all the dirt that I got on this. It was not good.
Brian
I think
Roches.
on
Roches.
Brian Roches and on Josue Colman. Josue Colman was a situation that should have never happened, and
Oh
Brian
man,
Roches was a young man whose heart wasn't really here. I'm gonna have to say that. I mean,
I
there's some
didn't know.
no, yeah, yeah. There's some
From what,
sad stories.
from what I saw is that whenever he was subbed on, he performed.
No,
Like
for sure. But
like
there's some sad stories in our club's history. I think the saddest
I did
story
have
of them all, yeah, the
I,
saddest story of them all is Carlos Rivas. Carlos
yeah,
Rivas had a
I
fall
mentioned
from
that.
grace that you won't believe.
Hmm.
Oh,
Right now, he is playing second division in Colombia,
in Colombia.
and he is probably making a maybe a quarter of what he made here in Orlando. It's just a sad story. He went to Israel to play for Hapoel Rana, blew his knee on his third game, and then COVID happened. He was released. I mean, incredible, sad story of what you don't do and how you don't destroy your own career.
Yeah,
I will let me finish the games this week.
for sure.
Here for all the fans that are following Leagues Cup. Wednesday we have San Luis Potosi at New England, New York City at Toronto, Montreal at DC, Philadelphia at Querétaro, or well, technically it's gonna be in DC. I'm sorry, I forgot that.
But
Make
that's
the
what I was
Mexican
gonna.
teams. Yeah, go ahead, bro.
That's what I was gonna say. Where's Juarez versus Mazatlan gonna play if they're not playing in Mexico?
You
Where's
know
that game?
what? The fantastic question. Let's find out. Q2 Stadium in Austin.
Oh, because Austin faced Mazatlan.
Yeah, exactly. So there you go. So it, technically our game against Santos Laguna this Saturday is an away game technically. So even though
Yeah.
it's gonna be here in Orlando, so I'm just gonna call it as well. Yeah, Monterrey is going to be at Salt Lake City. Tigres, we know those guys at Portland. And Thursday, the legendary Chivas at Cincinnati. There's gonna be a game to watch if as a neutral. That's the game you want to watch.
Mhm.
Nashville versus Toluca, Minnesota against Chicago, America against San Luis. Another nail biter for you guys that love the good game of football. And then this Saturday, we're gonna have Cruz Azul versus Atlanta, Necaxa against Charlotte, Santos Laguna against Orlando here in Orlando again,
Yeah.
quote unquote away game. Austin against Juarez, Pumas against DC. That's gonna be a great matchup. LA against Vancouver, and rounding up Sunday, Tijuana, Oscar Pareja's former team against Querétaro, New York against San Luis, Atlas against Toronto. That's a great matchup right there. Monterrey against Seattle, another fantastic matchup, and Tigres against
Now,
Santos.
Atlas beat New York City FC. I don't know if you saw that.
Let's review that because yeah, let's revisit the games this past week. So Saturday, as we witnessed the travesty against our club. Let's see here. Okay, let's actually do it to Friday. So we saw Miami beat Cruz Azul. I'm pretty sure that you guys are sick and tired of hearing that. Orlando, Houston, 1-1. Orlando wins it on PKs. Austin against Mazatlan. Mazatlan takes it 3-1. Charlotte and Dallas in tied 2-2. Charlotte wins it in PKs. Leon, Vancouver, 2-2. Leon takes it 16-15 on PKs.
Yeah,
For those keeping tabs.
there was a Vancouver player that missed the same penalty twice.
Uh,
Luis Martins. Yeah, he went up twice and he lost both of them.
Unbelievable.
Mhm.
Saturday, July 22nd. So we had New York and New England ending nil nil. Red Bulls takes it on PKs. Montreal against Pumas 2-2. Montreal takes it on PKs.
Yep.
Philadelphia 3-1 over Tijuana. And rounding it up. No, actually, no. We still, wow, we got a ton of games. I'm sorry, guys.
Yeah,
Salt Lake
they,
City winning 3-0 over Seattle. That's a surprise. Portland 2-0 or 2-0 over San Jose. And then Sunday, New York City losing to Atlas. That's surprising. And I know that that game, that goal got called back again. Outrageous. Our referee here in the United States, ashamed.
mhm.
Cincinnati 3-3. Cincinnati against Kansas. Cincinnati taking it on PKs. Nashville 2-1 over Colorado. Puebla getting shellacked by Adrian Heath and his boys in Minnesota
I
4-0.
heard. Hmm.
And then last but not least, Columbus over St. Louis 2-1. So that's so far League's Cup. Guys, what you have you guys watched a few games? I think the tournament is a great idea. My only complaint is the refereeing and obviously the fact that Mexican teams are not playing at home.
But John and me?
Go ahead, Vixen. Yeah, you
Oh
can go
yeah,
ahead.
I didn't know who was gonna go first. I've seen the highlights of a lot of them, and I've seen the scores of all of them. I think it's awesome. I think it's a lot more competitive than the Champions CONCACAF Champions League or the CONCACAF Champions Cup, in my opinion. Some people are like, I mean, sometimes they're taking this like really personal. I'm like 16 penalty kicks against 15 penalty kicks. I mean, the one fault for me is the same as David is that the refereeing and like these games should also be played in Mexico. Like I would love to see a team let me see here, like Charlotte play against Necaxa in Necaxa Stadium and fan base. Like, come on, like that's gonna be crazy. And then this is kind of going off topic here, but I heard that the MLS and Liga MX teams are going to be part of the Copa Libertadores in
Indeed.
2024. And I was texting my friend, and I'm like, man, I would love to see like Sporting Kansas City go to Bolivia and play against like Jorge Wisterman or the Strongest. Like, I would love to see like Vancouver Whitecaps go up there and see I just think,
There's some great teams in South America. Colo Colo Ever Ready, Millonarios,
yeah,
Nacional, Peñarol, Nacional. I mean Curitiba, Palmeiras. I mean River Plate. All boys. I mean, there's some great clubs out there, and I think it's going to be very good for Mexico and the United States slash Canada to go down there. I'm a firm believer. I have said it many times that there's one American continent. Why do we have two confederations?
I agree. I
It's
agree.
it's unnecessary. I think it will elevate the football that we have here. I have said many times that while everybody always concentrates on UEFA, which is fine confederation, but it has a lot of small countries that are never going to make any noise. Your San Marinos, your Liechtensteins, your Monacos, uh, you
Lithuania.
know, exactly, small countries like that are never going to make a lot of noise. But the one confederation that is a bloodbath, and you never heard about it because it just doesn't make it on TV, is the African Confederation. 53 nations duking it out for supremacy, and in my opinion one of the toughest continents to play. It's Africa, and again, just proof that if you put it on TV, it's gonna give you the impression that it's the best. And UEFA has a lot of countries that are not that only have a percentage of their national territory in Europe, like Russia. Russia's mostly an Asian country. Turkey the same way. Um, uh, 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 Portugal and Spain have territories in Africa. Yet, they get to be in UEFA. Then you got a country like Israel that is there only for political reasons. Which, by the way, I was reading this news that there was an offer from the Asian Federation to bring Israel back to the Asian Federation, and they said no because playing in UEFA is financially more sound, even though playing in Asia will guarantee that they will be making the World Cup every year. So that tells you guys that it's the reputation. So I feel that how our continent is divided right now basically places Mexico, Argentina, Mexico, United States, Canada against Menos. Not no disrespect to the islands, no disrespect to Central America, but population wise and quality wise in the leagues, we're not there. That's just the way it is. The islands basically are playing with the diaspora populations, guys that were not born there. Their connection is great granddaddy, grandpa, dad was born there,
Mhm.
and it's basically guys from Canada, from the United States, from Europe that are playing in these teams. The only time they are in country is when they play home games, and Central America is actually heading in that direction as well. And
Mhm.
Mexico, they if they don't want to admit it, it's also they're having a lot of dual nationals as well. So the reality is that um, in order to if you want to fly with the eagles, you can be hanging out with the turkeys. I
Yeah.
believe that we should create tournaments for Central America and the islands to make them competitive. Uh, make sure that they have a place on the table because the reality is that they can do it on their own. And when it comes to South America, I think is dishonest to say, oh yeah, we're the best confederation in the world when you have basically 10 federations and you are guaranteed a spot. You're guaranteed a spot. I mean, you know that Argentina, Brazil, and Uruguay are gonna make it. It's up to everybody else if they want to join them. We have to. It's good for them. It's good for us. So I think it's going to be fantastic if we get to do that. We have two comments here from Jared, and we're gonna be looking at wrapping it up. John, if you don't mind
Yeah,
rating this
they
comment.
said sad about Castan, but sometimes these things happen. Wish him the best. And then he said the thing is VAR in our match did. I think it's just we verify it was a penalty. I got confirmation, so the official pause for VAR check, but was directed to not go to the monitor. Embarrassing. Real quick,
Wow,
yeah,
really?
yeah. So real quick, Vixen. I don't know. You're Peruvian ancestry, right?
Yeah, Peruvian and Colombian.
Okay. So there's one keeper that has an official competition Messi has never scored against. That's made 3 or more competition appearances against. Do you know who
I
that
know.
is?
Yeah, Pedro El Pulpo
Yep.
Galles.
Mr. Pedro Alessa for sure.
Galles Quiros. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, that's yeah, I've seen him play in all of those occasions actually.
Good deal.
Because he
The
faced
fact that
them
Peru has only made one World Cup in the last however long,
36
36,
years.
no,
yeah,
40,
is
40.
especially the teams that Peru had 10 years ago. When I heard that, I was astounded that they hadn't made more
Yeah.
World Cups than that.
Well,
Yeah.
that's how cutthroat it is. When I believe in the Vixen, you correct me. I believe it's 6 spots for the World Cup out of 10 confederations, and 3 of them are basically already,
Brazil.
pencil in for Brazil, Argentina, Uruguay. So there you have it, friends. Um, well, Vixen, since we're wrapping it up, I want to hear your thoughts on this Saturday, 655 West Church Street. We are going to go away
I
to Santos Laguna. Your expectations of a rematch
indeed.
against this fantastic foe.
Yeah, I think we're gonna win. I think we're gonna win. They're in preseason right now. I think I mean we uh like that win that we had against Houston like helped out the team in my opinion, and with the game coming up against Santos Laguna, I think we will win it. We
Okay.
will win that game. I will get 3 points. But one thing I wanted to say was to John, like you know how you said that you hate VAR. Yeah, I agreed with you earlier in the podcast when you said it.
Mhm.
I was
Yep,
like, yeah, man, for sure.
I
I don't
appreciate
like
that.
VAR. I think it ruins the game. Like you see a goal scored, like and like you want to celebrate, like those days have gone past because you
Yeah,
don't know if something is gonna go wrong in like or they find something. Um, but
I mean, just
another
imagine the most possibly I would consider it is the most iconic goal in soccer history, the hand of God goal.
Ah, yeah.
Everybody and their brother knows that was a handball, but guess what? It wasn't called on the field. It was a goal, and they end up going on and winning the World Cup. That would today that goal doesn't happen.
yeah
For
yeah,
sure.
but I mean. It's just that's one of the reasons why I look forward to a lot in the U.S. Open Cup. Like there's no VAR, it's just a
Mm-hmm.
bloodbath. Let's see what goes down. It's all old school, and that's what I'm here for.
Yeah.
And
No, absolutely. So, if you can make it, please show up to the stadium this Saturday. Support the boys. Vixen, we're gonna let you go, my friend, so we can go ahead and wrap it up. Thank you very much for joining us again. Always appreciate your input,
thank
and
you.
we'll see you next week. Okay, my friend.
All right, thank you.
All right, brother. See ya. All right, John. So we are going to be going on a away trip. That for me takes about 10 minutes. It's gonna be my first away game, friends. So I'm super excited about it. Um, my wife was like, "Oh, let's do something this weekend," and I'm praying to God that she doesn't ask me to do something Saturday because I really, really, really want to go see the boys.
Mm-hmm.
So if you can make it to the stadium, please join us. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. And your expectations, John, about this game come Saturday.
We should win. I mean, we should definitely win. Santos Laguna hasn't seen by the time our match comes, probably hasn't seen their homes, their home field, their own beds in about a week at least. So they're playing tomorrow night in Houston. Then they have to travel from Houston Wednesday, come here, practice here for 2 days, and then the match on Saturday. So from what I could see, they don't score much. Their leading scorer from last season, I think, was only 7 or 8 goals. And like you said, they're in preseason. That could change this year depending on who they brought in and what their coach has up his sleeves and all that stuff. But I like our chances Saturday. I think it'll be a hard fought match. It'll be in my opinion 2-1, 3-1. We'll win it. But I foresee us winning it. If we were playing as well as well now as we were playing at the beginning, or if we were playing as well at the beginning of the season as we are now, we would have won the game at home against Tigres, and Tigres by far is better than Santos Laguna. So I like our chances with how the boys have been playing and
Hmm.
where we're at in the season versus them, being in their preseason and all of that.
I agree, my friend. I think if you want to be the man, you gotta beat the man. You gotta go and crack some skulls and dream big and dare to dream big. That's the way it is. Our league, some dangerous signings in our region. Also, quickly, there's been some indications that the league may be entertaining the idea of creating conferences, not but divisions. So if we do that, that would mean that we'd probably be with Miami, Atlanta, Charlotte, and Nashville in our own division. And if that happens, only top two of each division will make it out into the playoffs. So that will make it actually harder to make playoffs than what we have right now. So it truly is going to be a bloodbath. So we have to start planning to the future and start looking forward to being a better team. Sixth, seventh place is no longer gonna be an option. It's just basically being top best in your division. And we talk a lot of crap about our opponents, but the reality is that Miami is getting better. Nashville has always been a great contender. Charlotte is working on their problems. Atlanta has always been a great foe. And not only that, I have to say this, friends. If Cincinnati wins the MLS Cup as is projected, what a turnaround for them. And also, it's going to mean that it's going to be the fourth team that came to the league with us or after that has won MLS Cup before us. And that, friends, that's not a statistic that I'm very proud of.
Mhm.
So we have to look forward to that. John, any closing thoughts before we say
Oh,
goodbye to our friends?
yeah, one thing I forgot to say at the beginning of the show, real quick, that I posted on Twitter last week is the MLS owners met last Wednesday to discuss changes for the league. The biggest one that I've heard that's going to potentially change will be the roster size going from 30 to 35. The other rumors is the salary cap may raise, and there was one more. Oh yeah, the transfer fee there, the limit will be loosened a little bit more on what clubs can spend
Mm-hmm.
uh, on transfer fees to bring new players in. And we do have two new comments, David, if you want to pull those
Yeah,
up.
yeah,
And then,
absolutely. I have my little finger on top of it.
there
I
you
was
go.
just waiting for you to finish your
Yep.
thought.
William Aguilar, this League's Cup is about the money. Mexican peso is not as valuable as the dollar, so they will never play in Mexico. This tournament has name and last name. Absolutely. I've said it since they announced it that this might as well be nicknamed the cash grab tournament because they just kind of pulled it out of thin air. And then Vixen, did you guys say that Brian Reynolds was rumored to come to Orlando City? He started for the U.S. men's national team
Yeah, Vixen, we
and also
touch
David's of the Gold Cup. Yeah,
We
absolutely.
touched that in the beginning, the very beginning of the show. You probably missed that, but we did. And William touches a subject that I glossed over the currency situation. I think, and you're absolutely right, Will. Dollar over pesos, dollar wins every day. I just think, and that includes Canadian dollars. I just think that if we are to win over the Mexican fan, to let them know that across the border or north of their border, they also have football that is worth a damn, that is worth watching, that is worth you know playing against. Because obviously at national level, they have a lot of respect for the United States and Canada, and that respect wasn't given, was earned by breaking noses. That's the reality. I think we have to play in Mexico, and also, you know what? If we create this idea of the fan in the United States and Canada has a lot of acquisitive power, a stronger currency that can go and to these cities and drop millions in tourist money. And here in Orlando, we know a thing or two about that. That, friends, is going to change that perception, I believe. That's going to change their perception when hotels get full, bars get drank down to nothing, restaurants run out of food, and we start building rivalries across the border. I think it's time. And I leave you with this. I always say that more football, less wars. That's how it is. A lot of people feel that sports do the opposite, and I disagree, because when you face people that you probably you just have a caricature of an idea of who they are, when you get to talk to them, when you get to shake hands, when you get to share drinks, and then you get to share the passion for this beautiful game, that crumbles, and then all of a sudden, your perception about the folks on the opposite side of the fence changes. And I think it's going to be beautiful. I think for Europe, for Africa, for Asia, for Oceania, that has done great. For South America, that has done great. And I think it's time here in CONCACAF that we start doing that. And I believe that the day will come where perhaps Mexico will join the MLS. Who knows that? I know the nationalism and the patriotism of a lot of Mexicans gets hurt with that. I understand that, but the reality is that money rules the world. Okay, and cream, baby, cream. Shout out to Wu Tang Clan. So that's the reality. John, any last words before we call it a day?
No, you can catch me at Twitter at thatboyjrdub. Keep up with our Twitter with at on the capo stand as well.
Mm-hmm.
I'm still exclusively running that. David's not allowed to touch that for fear of harming the show's glorious reputation.
Yeah.
But no, that's about it, David.
No, that's it. So, sorry, I'm just making sure that I'm not ignoring any of the comments. Um, so with that said, no, absolutely. I can be found in Instagram at the underscore Florida underscore man 76, Twitter at most hated in 407. And if you want to follow me on Facebook, David Valentine, you know my name. So go ahead and check me out there. I don't promise anything crazy on Facebook and Instagram. It's just basically my private life. On Twitter, like I said, I don't know how I will approach it. So far, I'm just there to soak in the news and provide you guys with info that is worth discussing. So we'll see how that goes. We have a late comment here before we go. And I promise you guys that we're gonna go. We can't be like Hispanic people. I saying goodbye for 45 minutes. We can't do that. Um,
William Aguilar, have a nice week, guys. Sorry I couldn't come on the show this.
no, that's great. Will don't worry about it. We'll probably reserve you for next week. By the way, I had a great time. Thank you for joining me. I want to throw a shout out to our good friend David Hunt, who invited me to sit with him. But last minute, my son wanted to join me. We wanted to do a father son thing. So and Will came on announced and welcome. By the way, we had a great time. Thank you very much. So we leave you reminding you that we are you can participate be on the show just like Vixen did, footyfan76 at yahoo.com, or you can DM us on any of the applications where we have an account. Twitch at on the Capital Stand, Twitter at on the Capital Stand, YouTube at David's Channel 76, Instagram at on the Capital Stand, and Facebook on the Capital Stand podcast. With that said, my friends, we want to remind you that football is the sport for those that don't mind getting their mouth smashed and their hearts broken. From John and myself, may God bless you. And as always, vamos, Orlando!